Dear students, now let us recall one of the famous concepts in inventory control system. हम concepts को देख रहे हैं शुरू में in order to make the basis for our analysis. The concept is from the inventory control system. Most of you would be familiar about it. That is the ABC system. It actually determines which inventory should be counted and managed more closely than another. आप अपने किस inventory को जो है वो ज़्यादा काउंट करते हैं, that is more important for your business. It is not like that every inventory would be important for that business, and you will group your inventory based on their importance. That is the revenue which that specific type of inventory is actually generating. You will group your inventory as A, B and C. Yes, we have talked about it. यहाँ पर मैं उसको एक formally उस concept को जो है वो I am looking at it. So A items are given the highest priority. ये सबसे ज़्यादा important है. They will actually generate the highest sales or revenue for an organization. ये एक organization के लिए सबसे ज़्यादा revenue या sales generate करते हैं. With larger safety stocks. Actually, what would you do now? Why would you classify your items as A? Because I do not want to have shortages of such kind of items. मैं ऐसे items की कभी भी shortages नहीं चाहता. So what will happen? I would have more safety stock with me for such kind of items. Yes, competitiveness would be coming if your safety stock level is lesser. What does it mean? It means I can actually match my supply better with the demand, as well as my supply side doesn't have that much of an uncertainty. मेरे पास ऐसा supplier है, उसकी real time information यानी you have integrated your supplier with you, तो वहाँ पर you would have the real time information and similarly your safety stock would be lesser. If I know what my supplier can do, so before time I can actually ask some other spot supplier. Spot supplier means the supplier who can expedite the supplies, but obviously he would be incurring some higher cost. तो अगर मैं बहुत ज़्यादा responsive हूँ इस चीज़ में, मैं जो अपने fill rate है, that how many orders I actually fill, और मेरे customer का ये responsiveness का एक key performance indicator है, तो what will happen? I will actually try to go towards that spot supplier and actually get that, or I would actually encourage my supplier, my main supplier, कि वो मुझे delivery on time करे, so that my safety stock from the supply side would be actually lesser. तो what has actually happened? जो आपका safety stock जो कि buffer inventory और decoupling inventory पर था, उसमें decoupling inventory को you have actually squeezed it. The overall safety stock would be lesser. That is what enterprises they try to achieve. वो ये achieve करने की कोशिश करती हैं. But let's say यहाँ पर भी the general rule is those inventories which are classified as A for that enterprise or firm, they will never want to have shortage of such items because these items are producing the highest revenue. ये सबसे ज़्यादा revenue generate कर रहे हैं उसके लिए, sale सबसे ज़्यादा इन items की है. They do not want to have shortage of it. वो इसकी shortages नहीं चाहेंगे. So approximately 20% of the total items and about 80% of the total inventory cost would actually be based on it. पहले भी example दी है. That is, let's say there is a pharmaceutical industry या एक आपके पास एक pharmacy है. The most important item could be the life-saving drugs. Smaller in quantity, but their revenue is the highest and their inventory cost would be actually according to that. Then you have B items. That items actually account for the other about like 40% of the total items and 15% of the inventory cost. These are like intermediate items. It depends upon the organizations, the enterprises. Contemporary approach है. Some organizations, they have larger safety stock for B items as well, or they may not have that larger safety stock for B items. Then you have C items that have the lowest value and hence lowest priority. सबसे कम priority है. They account for the remaining 40% of the total items. 40% हुजम या volume में, these are higher, and 5% of the total inventory cost. Cost भी कम है. The revenue which they generate would be like approximately like 10%. इससे ज़्यादा नहीं है. तो the organizations, they would actually, or the enterprises, they will actually, they have the lesser priority for such kind of items. So if we can actually give it in the form of a figure, the ABC inventory matrix, that ABC analysis in terms of usage is at the y-axis, and at the x-axis you have the physical inventory level. So ABC, if you see inventory matches your sales, it is in the center. Center में आपके पास एक area मौजूद है. That spectrum or that horizon is the one where your inventory actually matches your sales. Now, you would like to have that, ऐसा होगा आपके पास, लेकिन the above situation and the lower situation, these situations can also arise. That is, the understocking of A and B items. That means आपके पास shortage हो गई है A और B items की, या more specifically, you have the shortage of A items. और इसके नीचे जो सिचुएशन है मैचिंग इन्वेंट्री मैचेस सेल्स के जो नीचे आपके पास सिचुएशन है, दैट इज अबाउट दी ओवरस्टॉकिंग ऑफ बी एंड सी आइटम्स. दैट इज आल्सो अ साइन ऑफ एक्सेसिव ऑब्सोलीट स्टॉक. ये वो स्टॉक है जो मेरे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. मेरे पास ओवर स्टॉक ए आइटम्स का होता तो दैट वुड हैव बीन फाइन, बट जो दो ऊपर और नीचे वाली सिचुएशंस हैं, firms actually or enterprises, they actually avoid these situations. In situations को avoid करती हैं. They do not want to have the excess stock of B and C items because these are not the priority items for an organization. Similarly, they do not want to have the understock of A items. A items का understock भी नहीं चाहते, because in that case they would be losing some important revenue because that was the most important inventory for them. So your inventory control system is actually very important in order to actually account for the fill rate. So whenever an organization says, I have 90% fill rate, that doesn't tell you the whole story. The whole story would be that how much is the fill rate for A type of items. Yes, for A type of items, if my inventory fill rate is, or my order fill rate is 95%, I would be happy. I would not be looking at like B and C type of items or customers जो कि B और C type of inventory आपसे acquire करते हैं. अगर उस पर मेरा fill rate कम भी है तो it doesn't matter. तो overall fill rate is not telling you the whole story. The bifurcation is actually important and the inventory type, let's say A, is the most important one. और उस पर अगर आपका fill rate higher है तो that is which gives the competitiveness to an enterprise.